times people used to wear that over the coats to keep the coats closed.
Okay.
And our French-Canadian ancestors created that technique to make pretty and colorful sashes. And nowadays we try to preserve that technique because it was almost gone. That was a dying technique. So, as you see, I don't braid. Sometimes people will call it braiding, but it's rather weaving. You see, I have two parts of yarns, one under and one over, and I take one of the work to make it the weft, and what they created is that, you see, changing warp and weft will do some arrows. We call it arrow sashes, and in older times people would spin the wool very tight and very fine. It was more resistant at that time. So it took 600 hours to make one, and they were very resistant. They kept that for their whole life. And nowadays we try very hard to preserve it because we're not many people who can do it.
No.
A few persons we can count on one hand, you know. And you know, that was the costume of the French-Canadian, and the Indians like to see those sashes on the whites, and they offered their fur to get them.
Okay.
And Hudson B Company, seeing that, they bought some from the French Canadians to sell, to trade for fur to the Indians. That's why the Indians played a big role, but they were not making them. That was the French Canadian. And the most ancient we found of that type were made here in the Quebec area. And after that, they were transferred to West and Manitoba and the Red River. But the first were here. And there was a region, Assumption, a little bit north of Three Rivers. And in Assumption region, they were very productive at that time because there was the trading post Assumption, and that's why sometimes you hear Assumption Sash.
Oh, okay.
That's the name is Arrow Sash.
Arrow Sash, okay.
And we kept it and we tried to preserve it.